What's going on, everybody? I'm hoping you're doing well on this Saturday. Welcome back to another subscriber chat and Q&A. If you're watching this on the replay, you can always send in questions via my email at prescribe.truth@gmail.com, or you can welcome to leave a voicemail, or you can text the number 801-980-6333. I don't know if anybody had a chance to watch the video I did yesterday, dealing with Erica Campbell, speaking to the three young people, or the three people, dealing with one was agnostic, one was two of the three were atheists, but the one professed to be a former Christian who was really a Mormon and all that kind of good stuff. So I don't know if you had a chance to check that out. Please do so. Let me know what you think in your comments and whatnot. Tomorrow's having the live stream. Tomorrow's airing the podcast. So hope you'll be able to tune in for that at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you'll be able to join me on that as we do the live recording of the podcast. So yeah. Not too much else going on with that. I wanted to see, and I'm not sure if I will, but we'll see what happens if people come on and chop it up or whatnot. But somebody did reach out to me via Facebook. You can see the link in the description as well to the Facebook page, facebook.com/prescribe truth apologetics. And God reached out to me about the whole Kurt Franklin and the preacher on the street thing, and asked my thoughts concerning it. As a matter of fact, as of yesterday, he released, the guy with a preacher released an updated video of him and Kurt Franklin actually having a sit down and talking. In his video, or in that video, I appreciate the honesty that he didn't have permission from Kurt Franklin to really air their conversation, their sit down conversation. There was little snippets that he did share. Which when I say snippets, I mean probably just like a snippet of the conversation that they actually had. The rest was that. And so I'm thinking about playing that on the show, playing the confrontation, and then also playing the some of the update. I don't know, but I'm not sure. So if you have any questions, anything like that, you're welcome to drop in the comments. Let me know. That's cool. We can discuss. These subscriber chats have been for us to be able to just chop it up. No a particular topic. When I come to do this live, I really don't have anything really, on my mind as far as what we could deal with. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But really, just a moment for me to be able to connect with the subscribers. Anybody who wants to come on and interact with me. I am happy and thankful that this week, we broke 300 subscribers. Man, I was, super excited about that. Super excited. Just thinking about, like, I made a post on Facebook. It's like, man, like, I can't imagine being in a room full of 300 listeners, and then so you have 300 subscribers. Like, I know that's not a big number to some who had these bigger channels of thousands and so whatever it's out, and so, but 300 is a lot for me. And considering how just last year I had just made 100 subscribers. So I'm super excited in the growth of the channel. Thank you for everybody who listens and supports the channel, and even those who give pushbacks and everything else. I really do appreciate you, and I don't take it for granted. What to say? Recently as well, just some major things going on with the ministry. Just recently, I became a part of the Christian podcast community. That's headed by Andrew Rappaport from Striving for Eternity's Ministries, and Colleen Sharp, Theology Gals. Man, I've learned a lot just on the you can go if you have a desire to start a podcast and you're a Christian. You can go to the Facebook page. They have a Facebook page, Christian podcast community. You can check it out. I was really helped by all that, like the information that was given. There's a podcast they have called So You Want to Be a Podcaster. Super interesting, super good. It was helped me a lot as far as starting some things I wish I would have known before I started the podcast in general. And so, it helped me along the way, So really thankful to actually be a part of the community, So you can find the podcast, you can find Prescribed Truth Podcast on the Christian podcast community as well on their website. And I think it's christianpodcastcommunity.org, O-R-G. And you can find all of that at strivingforeternity.org. So yeah, so that was good. So just really excited about all of that. Let's see here. If you want to support this ministry, you could do so. You can during the stream. I don't know how I'm gonna work this, but there's a link. There's a link that you can go to prescribedtruth.com/live, and you can see the live streams as well as have an option to donate while watching live. And so just like you would a super chat when you're watching someone on YouTube, it's similar to that. And also you can see where I have merchandise as well. That's on Streamlabs, so you can check that out. But if you want to give this and support this ministry to grow, you can do so. You see the link in the description as well as on the screen for patreon.com/prescribed truth. At this current moment, what I'm working on doing with the help of the patrons is to get my studio moved into this room that I'm putting together. It was an enclosed patio space, and now I'm finna to close it up. So I'm gonna enclose it and make it into a studio space where I can shoot the podcast there, as well as other videos I want to do. Like if you watch Prescribed Truth, the channel, some of my older content is me standing and have like a white background behind me or whatever, and I'm just talking about a subject for about 10 minutes or 10 minutes or less, and putting that out and pushing that out as shorter content. And that's something that I wanted to do or still want to do, but by given my current setup, it's not feasible for me to do it now. And how I used to do that is I would record in the same dining room but against the walls. I would have to take down the pictures off the wall and stand there and then set up lights and everything else just to be able to record that, and then have to take it all back down and put it all away, and then put everything back the way it was. And I was like, man, I don't want to keep doing it every time I want to record. I just want something stationary. And so having this studio would make it available for me to keep things stationary. I can keep lights up, and I can keep the podcast wherever it is, my setup, how I record and everything the way it is. And so I'll just it just makes everything easier. I can push out more content for the channel and everything, and so I'm just that's what I want to do. And I think it'd be better as far as even for the time. Like the reason why the podcast airs on Sunday nights, well, Sunday at 6, is because it was on Wednesdays that I would do the live stream and release on Thursday. But given the time me and my wife would get off of work and with the kids and everything else and get everybody settled down, I couldn't do the live stream until 9 p.m. And that's that was kind of late. They really expect anybody to come on, and though people would, it would be a couple people to come in and out, but it's just a late time. And then after I finished recording, so that's an hour worth almost, and then having to edit and get it ready to push out the next morning. Then I had to be to work the next morning. It was just, it was just too much. And so I moved it to Sunday at 6, so therefore, I had that time where I can record this early enough in the day. I know there are those who have evening services at their churches and stuff like that, so I know won't be able to make it to watch the live stream, and that's all good. But the beauty of all that is when I record that early, I can release early, and therefore, it'd be ready for people Monday morning versus Thursday. So, and I've seen that, but actually my numbers have gotten better since I've been releasing on the Mondays versus what I used to on a Thursday. So I'm actually okay with that and really cool with that. But if I can get the studio straight, if I can get that studio room straight, then I can record a podcast on different days and still release on Monday, but earlier, don't to worry about, like my little man in the background and stuff like that. This area that I'm in right now isn't closed off. You can hear my son if he gets loud enough. You may hear TV, but the studio space, I'll have that quiet, be able to record and do what I need to do. So just looking forward to all of that. Just looking forward to that. So, but that's with the help of my patrons. So I'm really thankful for those who do give the Prescribed Truth. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I promise you, what you give is being used for the betterment of this ministry. So thank you so much. And so you'll see the fruits, especially of that labor. Um, Please continue to give. I still want to offer. I want to be able to eventually get transcripts of the podcast to be able to post them when I do my live streams. Be able to post those transcripts so people who can't listen or the case may be can read it, and as well as use those transcripts for blog posts and stuff like that, and make them available for those who are listening to the podcast on different platforms. And I know some people like to read transcripts. You know, some people rather listen. Like me, I rather listen to a show than versus read it. But I know there are others who like to read, who rather read it. You know, read what's going on, want to hear want to see the transcript as they listen along. You know, take notes, whatever the case may be. So, so that's what I want to look into doing eventually. So, just all these goals are working towards to just try to better this this ministry and this content for you guys. And a lot of that comes with you guys, you know, your input, you know, things you let me know that you think that, I need going forward, and, you know, anything that can make it better. I wonder, let me see here. Yeah, it is. Hey, see, everybody's doing something right now. So what I'm going to do is play something. But I hope this. Yeah, my mic is working. Cool. All right. So what I'm gonna do is play some ads. These are people that you can listen to in your podcast apps, as well as Prescribe Truth. So please check out these guys, and you know, and listen to what they have going on. A good Christian podcast. So here we go, and I'll be rolling these out throughout like different episodes of the podcast itself. You know, in between breaks. So just be on the lookout for these as well.
Can you prove that God is a Trinity? Can you prove that Jesus is God? Can you defend the Christian faith? And what is it that Christians truly believe? The new book by Andrew Rappaport, What Do We Believe?, will answer those questions and more. Some people just don't understand what the church is today, but this book will go through the history and meaning of the church, and what's more important than to understand man's sinfulness and God's salvation. Get your copy at whatdowebelievebook.com or at the strivingforeternity.org store.
Right. So that's Andrew Upwards. What do we believe, man? Please check it out. Go to the website. If you watch any of his stuff, if you go to Striving for Eternity on YouTube, he has a lot of content dealing with evangelism and how to answer people and stuff like that. I think it's just very good. You should go check it out, especially if you want to get into evangelism. The plan is I want to actually get Andrew on the show to talk about evangelism. And I think either this week, I think next week, I'm supposed to, Lord willing, be on his show to discuss social justice. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm trying to get him to come here to talk about evangelism. For those of you who follow Prescribed Truth, who want to get into evangelism more and may have some fears or may have some hangups or whatever the case may be, just wanted him to come through and just encourage you guys to go out there and share your faith with the world. So here's another one. I've been advertising his gospel tracks on the show. James Watkins from Five Solas Ministries. Man, he's really cool dude. I was on his show, just sharing my testimony not too long ago. Really good content on this channel. I think he just really recently did a podcast on addiction. And just everything just from a Christian perspective, man, and just holding to the five solas, Christ alone, grace alone, faith alone, the glory of God alone, I think I missed one. Scripture alone, there we go. And so it's like just holding to the five solas, man. And so this is one of the Fire of Soul is something that is really beautiful to me concerning, like, especially coming out of false teaching and everything else. Like, it's just really central. So really check him out. So here is an ad for the Fire of Souls ministry.
What's up, everyone? This is James Watkins, host of the Five Solas podcast and founder of Five Solas Ministries. Be sure to check out our podcast that releases every Thursday on your favorite podcasting app as we discuss Christian doctrine and dive into the Reformed theological distinctives and their continued relevance for the church and world today. Grace alone, faith alone, Christ alone, Scripture alone, to the glory of God alone. Join us each episode as we discuss the truths of these foundational rallying cries of the Protestant reformers and how this material helps challenge and direct the current church in its life of worship and witness. Visit us online at www.5solasministries.com. That's www.5solasministries.com to learn more information about the ministry and to also check out our awesome Five Solas lineup of t-shirts and gospel tracts. And as always, may all that you do be done to the glory of God. Soli Deo Gloria.
I like that ending, man. Soli Deo Gloria. I love that. I love that. It just put the echo on the end and everything. It's cool. So this next one is the Everyday Ministers podcast. I like the title, man. Like, it just like it fits. You know, just everyday ministers. You know, just talking about different things. You check out that podcast and talk about different things that ministers deal with. You know, I saw a podcast they did on fasting, the discipline of fasting, and it was really good. You know, considering how, like, man, like, I guess coming out of the charismatic circle I was in, I looked at kind of like, I'm always really skeptical, cautious, I should say, more dealing with the subject of fasting. You know, but I like how they broke it down, how they discuss fasting and what it's really for, because this false teaching in charismatic circles is talking about how you fast to get more power with God, to get more favor with God, and all these things, instead of looking at fasting as a spiritual discipline. You know, something just to kill the flesh. You know, it's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to die to ourselves daily. And so, that was a good podcast I listened to concerning them. They have more content than that, so I would encourage you to check them out. They're called the Everyday Ministers Podcast, and here is their commercial.
The Everyday Ministry Podcast.
This is James White.
Jamie Owen.
I'm Chris Nordworthy.
This is Daniel Brown.
Check out our full-length episodes released every first and third Monday of every month. And our short Minister's Minute episodes released every second and fourth Monday of the month.
Mm-hmm. What is youth ministry?
What is apologetics?
If Christ found this important, then it should be important to us.
The Everyday Ministry Podcast.
Where everyday ministers get together to discuss
everyday ministry.
That was good. And I was corrected, not Everyday Ministers Podcast, Everyday Ministry Podcast. So yeah, so that's really good. So please check them out as well. And last but not least, this is the Prescribed Truth Podcast commercial. And so I made this commercial the other day. So this is my first time airing it on the show, or at least on this platform, my first time airing it. And so it will be something I will be including in the rotation on my show as well, you know, along with these others. And so this is the Prescribed Truth Podcast commercial.
Ephesians chapter 4 verse 25. Therefore, laying aside falsehood, speak truth, each one of you with his neighbor, for we are members of one another for his name's sake.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jamal Bandy, the host of the Prescribed Truth Podcast, where I seek to distribute the truth that the doctor prescribes to the church and the world today. The Lord graciously brought me out of a cult in 2010, saved me in 2013, and in 2017, Prescribed Truth began. My mission has been to spread the truth of God's word while refuting dangerous lies affecting most churches and the culture at large from a biblical and reformed perspective. Join me on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for the live recording of the podcast on YouTube, and download the audio version wherever podcasts can be found, including the Christian podcast community. If you would like to know more about Prescribed Truth, please visit my website at prescribedtruth.com. And remember, this world is full of errors, but the only thing that the doctor prescribes is truth. Blessings. Yeah. So it's not as good as those others. It's not as good as the commercials of others, but it gets the point across. It does what it's supposed to do. I like it because it's different. It's cool. Yeah. So that's all of that. I don't have anybody coming in today. Nobody coming in to chop it up with me today. Everybody got things to do. So with that being said, well, I'm going to end it. No need of continuing. I said I was going to probably play the video, but that's for response and stuff like that. I'll probably do a separate thing, respond to that, or reviewing that content, if need be, but probably won't do it. I mean, my thoughts on that initially, just to share. I don't know the guy who's the preacher, saying his video, his updated video showed that maybe he seemed like he holds to some Reformed theology, but I don't know. It's just hard to tell. It's just hard to tell, and it's like some part of his video, his updated video, maybe it seems like as if he holds to somewhat of sinless perfectionism, because he was mentioning when he talked to McCurt how we don't sin at all, so I don't know, and I could have misheard him, so I'm gonna have to listen to that stuff again. But yeah, so I don't need to address in here. I want to play it. If I did play it for this Saturday stream, it would be try to get other people's input to see what other people think about it as well, other than just myself. All in all, I think I admire his boldness to share the truth. Apparently, he was out there proclaiming the truth on the street corner way before Kurt Franklin showed up, and so I commend that. I think it's always beautiful when you have people out there preaching the gospel, preaching to this world out there in the street. It just you don't always know what people believe. You don't know what they're actually teaching. You have those who stand on the street corner who preach sinless perfectionism, you know what I'm saying? You have those down the street corner who believe in universalism and so on and so forth, and so you got to be careful, when making judgments, or at least quick judgments anyway, without examining everything. And so but I can say that I can appreciate his boldness and his courage to continue to talk with Kurt. The fact that they did have a sit down was really respectable to me. I found that really good. According to his update, Kurt Franklin had what he would call his spiritual father, quote unquote, Tony Evans, on the phone, as well as when they was having a conversation. But this gentleman here, being a part of a church, he didn't have any, his elders, anything present, which I don't necessarily find that being a big deal if he didn't, just the way it was. Kurt Franklin probably wanted to have Tony Evans on or whatever, so that's just the way it was. But the fact that they sat down, now I don't know if they got a chance to open up the Bible or not. In the video that he shared, or the little snippets he shared of their sit down, the Bible was closed, and so it could have been open at one point, and they happened to close it. And I don't know. It's just not enough there to really give anything conclusive on that end. He gave a lot of scripture as to why he did what he did, and he seemed very gracious in his update. So I don't know. I don't know. In the video, I know in the initial confrontation, I figured that he could have used more compassion or whatnot, as far as talking to Kurt and how he dealt with him, especially when Kurt approached him. Some people say that he maybe could have taken the bullhorn down and just talked to him normal. I can understand why he kept the bullhorn, because I've seen street preachers, even when somebody approaches them, they still keep talking in a microphone, to project. And so I don't necessarily see anything necessarily wrong with that. So yeah, so it's just it's a lot into that, But I want to bring it on to discuss it with you guys as well. Just won't be able to do that today, and but yeah. So with that being said, hey, I hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. I hope that your families are well, that you're keeping safe, and Lord willing, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you will be joining me for the live airing of the Prescribed Truth podcast. All right. So remember, this world is full of errors, but the only thing that the doctor prescribes is truth. Blessings, and have a great day.
Ephesians chapter 4 verse 25. Therefore, laying aside falsehood, Speak truth, each one of you with his neighbor, for we are members of one another, for his name's sake. Prescribe truth, we giving you what the doctor ordered. Jamal Bandy, apologist, the Lord's servant. We undeserving, but Christ changed our mind frame.